Greetings and welcome to Destiny and Dice. We are in the midst of our campaign. It's affectionately titled at this point in time, A Short Story Long, as it was originally a one-shot that turned into a three-shot that turned into... We're on year 2 of this campaign now. I think we've officially started year 2 this past summer. That being said, welcome. We appreciate you if you're watching for the first time or if you're a returning visitor. If you need more information about the campaign itself, you can head on over to our website, destinyanddice.com, all spelled out. You can look at previous sessions notes there. If you're on YouTube, you can also access our previous episodes that are posted there. We are back after a very long break because we've had life take place. So we've had people on vacations during summer, coming back, going forward, doing all sorts of things. We've been trying to fill in the gap with some fun things. We hope you've enjoyed that. And with that being said, we're going to go ahead and jump into this session. When last we met, the Shadow Slayers had found 3 people in Whitehearth that they had least expected, especially Bruce. Odiana and Colin were found in the massive workshop beyond the Orange Doorway in the Eastern Junction, and with them a newborn infant, their son. However, not all was as it seemed. Upon questioning the pair, they seemed to not know themselves, but had met there in this place at least 9 months ago and had fallen in love, and, well, when mommies and daddies love each other very much, you get the picture. With further inspection, the party discovered that they bore strange collars around their necks that were magical in nature. A little identification later, it was discovered the collars were set with heavy enchantment-based magic, as well as destructive spells that would trigger if the collars were tampered with. But the pair seemed happy enough, especially while they worked on the ship, the wrecked Enchantress's Song. Almost too happy. Meanwhile, Rix, in conversing with the traveler, found himself drawn to the dragon head construct found at the other side of the workshop. Taking some time to inspect it, he discovered a control panel of sorts. He went and grabbed Cherry to show her what he had found, and together they began a more thorough inspection of the construct. Upon seeing it, Cherry could tell that part of the control panel was dedicated to the piece of schema that they had found in the glass-covered chest. Cherry was in the process of trying to identify the machine when, prompted by more curiosity than anything else, Nyx decided to join them. With Nyx's help, they were able to find empty sockets in the control panel, and were pretty sure they knew what would go in them, but they waited for Cherry to finish before inserting objects into unknown orifices. The bundle of joy known as Barnacle was passed between party members, eventually coming to rest in Kizriel's hands, but at this point, both Bruce and Z had noticed the oddity of Colin and Odiana's zeal for repairing the ship, even to the point of letting complete strangers hold their child. Not to mention one of the said strangers mentioning she had previously done murder. Z had begun a more thorough inspection and investigation of Odiana, targeting her as opposed to the collar on her neck with identification. Bruce stepped away from the group to try and gather himself, still unsure of what's real and what's not. Meanwhile, Jalira had completed her identification process on Project Glass Dragon and learned more about the construct. Rix and Nyx showed her their discovery, and one by one, they each placed an Eberron Dragon Shard into a socket. When Cherry placed the third shard, only when Cherry placed the third shard, did something happen, which is where we start today's session. That being said, now, as the third Dragon Shard is placed by Jalira into the socket and clicks in, everybody feels this low bass thrum that resounds throughout the chamber. Most especially Rix, Nyx, and Jalira, who are standing right at the source. And as you feel the arcane power begin to surge throughout the dragon's head, on an instinctual level, all 3 of you look immediately in front of the console where you're standing to see that lone cable sticking up out of an odd angle. And suddenly sparks are flying. I'm going to need dexterity saving throws from all 3 of you.
Nice.
Oops, wrong.
Right. Dexterity
Ooh.
saving throws. Ooh, I'm supposed to be good at those. We'll see. Oh, it didn't roll inside.
I know. I rolled it by accident in the wrong thing.
It's in Beyond. It's in D&D Beyond. I need to turn off my internal dice roller. Excuse me a moment. But it was a 22.
A 22. So
So,
we have a 25, a 22, and a 4.
Oh, rip.
So, how far is the drop?
The drop, you guys are up about 30 feet because it's raised fairly high.
I've survived a 30-foot fall.
Exactly. You should be good. Okay. As you jump back, could you please show me where you jump back to on the map?
Uh.
Yep. Over here.
And keep in mind, the entire structure you're standing on is metal.
Lovely.
The
Just gonna
chains
jump
supporting
onto
it to
this.
the ceiling are also metal.
Well, there's the wooden
It's right here-ish.
pieces. The
Okay.
console seat looks like it's not metal. Maybe.
The
No,
other,
The Knicks are sitting in the chair, stacked on, like sitting on top of each other.
Like, hey, what's up, guys? How you doing?
I mean,
Like when the music stops and
I mean, it'd be neat if I could find some way to just like hop up onto the wood, but I did roll on that one that resulting in a 4, so I'm not sure what all I'm allowed to try and do.
Why can't I turn off my digital dice from D&D Beyond?
I'm going to say that because of your natural one, you just kind of, your body is kind of, you instinctually just flop off of the construct, falling to the floor.
The safest place for you.
It's probably legit actually the safest place.
I mean, when I said I survived a 30-foot tall, I mean, I did. Oh wait, did I? Where was I muted at the time when I said I survived a 30-foot fall? Okay, sorry.
No, I heard you say it. So, go ahead and place yourselves. I will come back to you in just a moment.
My
Yesterday
a different character did not survive a 30-foot fall. Okay, just
it's okay. It's okay. Okay, let's see. Zanim, you had started your identification process, and with that bass low thrum that kind of reverberates throughout, I need you to roll me a concentration check, which is essentially a Constitution saving throw.
So much trouble.
I know I didn't explicitly say it in our recap, but I do believe Odiana had taken the baby to feed the baby and sit down while Zanim was doing this process. So, Kizriel, I don't think you have the baby in your hand anymore.
I don't remember. I totally never told him at all, to be honest.
No,
I
I
think
remember.
he somehow ended up in your hands at some point.
No,
I
it was
couldn't explain
Zanim that last had the baby. It was Nyx. It was Jalira, Nyx, Zanim.
Okay.
And then Zanim gave the baby over so that she could do the identify.
Okay. So Kizriel and Bruise, at this point, you are free to act if you have something that you want to do. Zanim, how's that concentration check coming?
It's coming. Hold on. I did a dumb, and I don't have my character sheet up. For some odd reason, I forgot to do that.
Okay, well, we'll let you get that going.
Okay.
we're at it.
Bruise, Kizriel, what are you doing?
Go check out the noise.
so yeah, I mean from our perspective, we're sitting here, there's a low rumbling going through the whole area. I mean, is it like immediately apparent where it's coming from, or is it just the room shaking, or
Dust is kind of falling from the ceilings. The room itself isn't shaking, but it's because of the echoey nature of this chamber, it's just reverberating from all around. You're not 100% sure where it's coming from. Though you do know that Rix, Nyx, and Jalira are all up at the other end doing something.
I'm gonna peer around this pillar from here, looking each way, can I tell where the noise is coming from? Is it the giant garage door, or
It's
can
not the giant garage door. In fact, you from your vantage point, you see sparking and popping electricity popping off the top of the dragon construct head hanging from the ceiling. You do notice a small lump on the ground that is Jalira. Let me throw out some dice here really quick.
I'm gonna want to head that way and check on them then. If I'm not worried about the Emerald Claw coming through the garage door.
Yesterday it was 2d10.
Okay, what
What
exactly
was it
am I
when you were
rolling?
13 years old?
You only actually take 2 points of lightning damage as
Okay.
the sparks zip up and into your feet where you're standing. However, it's enough for you to stagger back and fall off the construct head onto the floor. A little bit more damage from falling than the actual lightning itself.
Hurry.
At which point, Bruise, what are you up to?
I think if Bruce isn't sure where this is coming from, he's going to rush back over to where Odiana, Colin, and the baby are.
Okay.
1, to check on them, and 2, because if something's happening, they're the ones that are kind of running this place, so he's going to assume that they at least have an idea of what's going on.
Colin is doing his best to hurry kind of out of the ship where he had been performing some repairs. He's kind of coming down the ladder as quick as he can. Zaneem, did you get your character sheet up?
Yes. So what am I rolling for a concentration check?
A Constitution saving throw.
Thank you.
You're fine.
Okay.
You're fine with your original roll.
Okay, good. That's the one that counts. Ignore the second one. I didn't mean to.
It's all good. Okay. Rix, Nyx. You see some of this because you guys have been up there and examining. You see that some of the sigils, particularly the 2 that have sparks now over them, are lit up and trying to function, and they're sparking, but there doesn't seem to be enough of the construct assembled in those particular areas to shield whatever it was that they did.
Okay.
So you find yourselves precariously balanced on a chair together.
This looks to. I look to Nyx and I'm like,
Get it?
we should probably pull that crystal out. Do you want to do boulder parchment shares or?
I'll do it. I can do it with less damage than you.
Okay.
All right.
Roll
So
me
it's
an
just-
acrobatics check.
Okay.
Rix, roll me a strength check.
Oh.
Oh no, I'm gonna knock the chair.
As you just kind of grab on the back of her sash, she very gingerly leans forward over the control panel, is able to grab onto the edge of the crystal and pull it out with no ill effect.
Okay.
As you do so, the sparks stop. The little electricity blasts go away. The sigils powered down.
Hey, just Lyra.
It's just they just kind of like, Jalira! Hey! Rix is going to kind of rush over the edge to look over at Jalira and be like, hey, are you okay? How much did that hurt you?
Nyx is gonna go ahead and jump down.
I can breathe.
Oh,
Oh,
that was a real life reference, by the way. When she fell 30 feet out of the tree, that's what she said.
oh. Alright. So, Rix is like, alright.
Nyx is gonna go ahead and jump down
Rix,
using the slow fall.
Okay. I'm going to take the
That's right.
the Eberron shards and put them back into my bag.
Wait. I have a Featherfall token.
Does it automatically trigger, or do you have to have it ready?
Oh, good golly. That's something that you've had since session 1.
Session 1. So session 1.
Leap at least 20 feet. Yeah,
The token
I
is on
think it
your
would
person.
auto trigger.
Okay, auto trigger.
No damage.
Okay.
Well,
But
you don't have it anymore now.
Yeah, that safety net is now gone.
Meanwhile, Nyx just jumps down.
Rix is just gingerly putting, or at least I'm gingerly putting the crystals back into my bag. Like, that's noted. Things that need to be fixed for later.
Alright.
That was
That's right.
fun.
Meanwhile,
You all
Bruce,
right?
you've hustled over Zanim. You're still kind of focused on your identification, not of the collar on Odiana, but you've kind of placed your hands on her head and you're trying to figure out what's going on. Bruce, you say anything as you come running up. Colin comes running down and running up to this little small group over here as well.
I think he would be just rushing towards them and I guess somewhat gauging their reaction. So they look like trying to match their level of how freaked out he should be. Just like Colin running out, I'm assuming he looks at least mildly panicked.
He does. His eyes are wide, like he's never heard that sound before. Odiana, on the other hand, doesn't look as shocked by this sound as you'd think.
Interesting.
Yeah, so he just kind of rushes over and he's kind of looking at the two of them. And he's like, "What? What's happening? Are you okay? What's going on? Are we safe?"
Colin's just looking around, almost as wild-eyed as you, maybe a little more wild-eyed than you because she's not used to hearing that sound. I don't know. I was on the ship. Oh, what happened? Where are your friends? Where's everybody else?
I don't know. Bruce looks for his friends.
You know what your friends are doing? Checking on your friends.
You gotta look up, look down, look around. Wait, what?
Where'd they go?
Odiana's just like, calm down. I think they're playing with the big toy on the other side of the bay. Your friends, they don't happen to have dragon shards lying around, do they?
How far into Bruce's sprint is it before the machine turns off?
I think it happened pretty quickly. It was like, I would say within like 12 seconds-ish, like about 2 turns, Mike.
2 turns.
Because
Right?
Kids
the moment
probably
she
have
said
been
that, Bruce is a ghost. He is rushing. He is sprinting back to the other side of the room.
Okay.
Nothing wrong with a little experimentation, right? It's for science.
science.
I would say at this point, you're coming up on the group as Nyx has just kind of artfully jumped down. Rix is gingerly trying to put the crystal, like you see Rix, but you kind of see his head because of the height difference. You see his head kind of poking around up top, and he's definitely messing with something up there, but you can't really see what it is. But Jalira's kind of like dusting herself off from having gotten on the floor and the sparks of electricity.
Got a little bit of a burn on her toe.
I had that token, like, since I've been an apprentice. How did, and it finally goes off in a cannon facility.
Wait, what happened? Are you what are you doing?
We were just seeing what would happen, and it sparked. But we
What?
thought
Wait, what would happen if what?
we found a place where the dragon shards fit perfectly.
What dragon shards?
The ones that Rick
Rick's
found.
I pop my head over
From
the top. He's like,
next to
you know the
forge.
ones that I found, and we used some of those to make that really nice belt of yours and those nice shoes and everything. The space is for those of similar shape up here, and we didn't do the Kaiba shards because we don't have enough, and we didn't do the Sybaris shards because again, we don't have enough. We figured we have the Eberron shards. That's our safest bet, and we tried it, but there's some loose wiring up here. That's all. That's all. That's all that happened.
And I could probably fix that. I'll get on that. Yeah.
You're currently on the ground. You have to go all the way around. How you're going.
Harry starts to wander back up.
If Cherry says I think I can fix that, Bruce reaches out and grabs the back of her cloak.
Make for me a grappling check. So athletics versus athletics, or
Are we just gonna
acrobatics.
Are we just gonna default it to Bruce succeeding because he's got that
Oh
like?
wow!
Oh,
She did it.
she did it! Even with that +9, you must have rolled low.
Like just like you reach out and you make contact with her cloak, and just you happen to grab like a weak piece, something that caught while she fell off and got tore, and just rip as you have this shred of fabric in your hand, and Cherry has taken off towards the walkway. Well, no, I do suppose you get 2 attacks per round, so
Really?
if you'd like to like make a grab with the second hand.
Am I rolling again?
Yes, you are.
Wow.
He rolled a natural
right,
19.
It's like it's almost like you know he's gonna do it, so you kind of like dodge out of the way, and he grabs and rips cloak, but you don't see the other hand coming. The other you zig when you should have zagged.
Bruce just slowly looks up and locks eyes with Rick's. Get down.
Fixer happily flutters down and onto your shoulder.
Rick's I just kind of look at him and be like, that was going to be part of the plan. The next thing I was going to do. It's all calm down a bit. And I back away and I start making my way up the ladder and to go this way.
Okay.
Can I do a sense motive on Bruce?
What would you like to sense motive for? Go ahead and roll it.
Sorry. Switching back and forth between Fat Pathfinder and 5e.
you're
I'd like to
input.
know why is he upset? Because he's worried that we're gonna break stuff, or is he actually worried about is he worried that this thing is gonna cause problems? Or is he worried about safety?
Wait.
Whatever
What do
I
you
can
mean
get
this-
with it.
Is he more worried? She's debating on whether he actually cares about their safety or if it's that we're gonna break something.
Just
That
like
we
is
should
it
be
just because
touching.
we're causing problems with the device, or is she's still not quite over the fact that she feels like the only people whose safety you care about right now are over on the other side. She's still trying to get over that. So that's what she's doing inside.
She's inciting you as to whether you still like your friends or not.
Is it their safety
Or their stupidity
Yeah.
that you're worried
that you're angry about?
Because you're obviously not happy with us.
Yeah, I mean, I would say if nothing else, you can read that Bruce is like obviously like upset.
Or is he more like, don't embarrass me in front of my friends, kind of upset? Embarrassing me in front of the wizards. you know what? I'll take it as the feelings are everything based on what I'm looking at.
I'm just trying to figure out like I mean, I guess that if nothing else, you get this general vibe of how incredibly stupid a thing just happened.
Okay. All right.
It's fair.
So it is their
It's totally fair. It was a stupid thing
No,
we did.
it is. It is.
We did a dummy.
Go back to the day where Bruce picked up a crystal, and then just kind of compare everything to that.
I'm sorry, I don't hear
Oh,
a
she
voice in my
always
head
does.
right now. I'm just waiting for my friends to get down.
Okay. Rix is making his way. Making my way. I'm making my way back down. Walking fast. No faces passed.
And your friend bound?
I mean, I would like to go home at some point. So. Just trying to determine what home is.
Yeah, it's like, what
underneath.
is Rick's home?
So I will put him here and say that he has rejoined the group now.
Okay.
Or I have rejoined the group.
Okay. Rix comes down. You kind of all gather there in that small group. Once Rix is down with the rest of the group, is there anything else that gets said? Or do we all wait quietly under the stern gaze of Papa Bruce looking at everybody like, how dumb do you have to be?
It's a fair assessment.
There is another door. Did we want to check that out? Or do we want to get everybody below deck before gets here?
We were exploring our options because if this thing can be used and wielded as a weapon, it could be useful in attacking the Emerald Claw should they arrive. So we were doing a little bit of experimentation. That's all. And I know it was stupid, but what's done is done.
Lord.
What's done is done. I can't turn back time.
You're fine, Rix. I mean, we need to figure out what's going on.
But how much time?
Sorry, I'm still stumbling over you all activating a doomsday device.
It's not a doomsday device. It didn't cause the morning.
But it did probably destroy Rose Quarry.
Oh, it certainly destroyed Rose Quarry, but it's not complete. It's broken into parts.
I apologize. You decided to activate a half deconstructed doomsday device.
Yes, so it would not lead to a full doomsday, but it was just an exploration. It's not. We didn't even fully activate it.
Because you couldn't, because you were missing.
Well, we weren't going to put all of the other pieces in. Clearly, the Kyber shards are going to be a problem, and then the Siberi shards are going to be a problem. The Eberron shards were the simplest ones. And the wiring is all messed up, and, you know, it's...
The Emerald
This thing is
Claw
gonna
is
hurt.
almost here.
It's gonna hurt us more than it's going to hurt anyone else right now. At least villages or anything.
What did you learn?
Well,
I mean, obviously, I don't think it's supposed to eject people out of it.
oh
But
no,
there's the bad wiring. I can fix that.
there wasn't an ejection. It was more of avoiding some sparks coming from broken wiring.
It was a little shocking.
I just kind of chuckle, I was surprised to suppress the chuckle at the pun. Not now, Cherry. Look,
I mean, there is the distinct smell of slightly burnt cherry hair.
look. It
We've
was
smelled it before.
stupid. Okay.
Not really.
Well,
I agree with you guys trying to figure this
Bruce
out.
We
looked
should-
at kids curiously.
we should have
We
been.
need to find out what's going on here. We need to understand this.
We
They were trying to be methodical, and then they got a little carried away. So they learned their lesson. Okay?
We're not going to stick random shards into different places anymore.
You know what we could use against the Emerald Claw? The
Those-
glass goblins.
Golems.
The glass golems. Nyx might be able to talk them into just say, "Hey, go sick them," right?
Do we really want
They-
to
they
push?
might not be completely defenseless.
You-
Only mostly.
I kind of look. I'm like, do we really want to test to see how much they are going to look at that mark of hers? I mean, it looks pretty convincing, but it might pushing a little too hard might raise some red flags.
We could ask Odiana.
What? Ask her
How
what?
she doesn't get the glass golems to attack her.
Wizzy,
Come on, let's just go. They're back there.
You guys,
I give wide
Start moving
berth
back.
to Bruce. I know he's mad, understandably mad. We did a stupid.
Bruce would have let Cherry go a long time ago, by the way.
Oh yeah, she's standing there looking like as if she's expecting to be lectured. So she's standing dutifully, but she's gonna just look at him and say, "I'm scared." Do you want me to go with you, or can I repair that wiring so it doesn't shock us on the next experiment? That we will totally let you supervise first.
Uncheck my eyes.
Like Bruce
Oh,
just looks like
persuasion.
I mean, it was their idea, but they totally talked me into it. I was probably way too easily talked into it.
there is an infant 100 feet away.
Oh, 200 feet away. Past the pillar.
I do love his 3 measuring sticks come out to just double check that math.
I'm gonna just turn around and run off.
Nyx is gonna follow her.
What do you
I think
write?
Bruce
Roll
just
for
stands there just
composure.
like shaking his head and not really sure what to make of any of that.
I was gonna say performance, trying to keep your straight face on.
Makes more sense. No. Nick sees her crying. I don't know if Bruce cut it. But she's trying to stop it.
Wouldn't that be a deception? Nyx would just hold her. Put her arm around her a bit.
So all of this happens probably over the course of 5, 6, 7 minutes.
By the way, is Rope
You-
Trick still going? Has it been 2 hours?
It has not been 2 hours. Is it 2 hours or 1 hour for rope check?
That was 1 hour.
Maybe we'll double check. 1 hour.
1 hour.
Has it been 1 hour?
You've cast 2 identify spells since you've been in here. One was done by Z, or both were done by Z prior, I believe. Hold on. Is it 2 or is it just 1? One. Z checked out 1 of the
Collars. She
Yeah,
checked
yeah.
out one of the collars. She
Checked out one of the collars.
and then Jalira checked the machine.
Check the machine. Okay, there's the 2. I knew there was 2. So it's only been probably 25 minutes since you opened your rope trick. Ish. So it's still up for another half hour or so.
Should probably offer to heal him.
Stayed in that space before, but it's okay. You don't have to.
Heal him? I don't.
You're right. He was right. It's not safe to do that in this space. So close to a child and everything. It was my fault.
We have 2 very scary enemies breathing down our neck. I don't think we can survive. I have no idea how we're gonna survive.
I know.
Israel, Rix, your slow walk back over to the other group. Is there anything you discuss quietly amongst yourselves, or you just walk back tight-lipped?
I kind of just look to Kiz, and he's like, he does have a point, you know. There's a child here. We should be careful. What's wrong?
Can't tell if he's more worried about the child or the fact that Cherry fell out of it. I mean, a friend got hurt. Never. Don't worry. Hey, so there's another door.
He reaches over. He's like, she had the token. She didn't take anything, but she could have gotten hurt. And he kind of, you know, I just kind of stop walking at some point and I kind of reach out to place my hand on her shoulder to try to get her to stop walking, so we can talk a little bit before we continue. I don't know if Kiz is just going to keep going or not. I don't know if she stops with him.
She'll stop.
Okay, and he looks and he's like, I think we like to think that we're the ones who love Bruce the most. But he had a bond with that group, and they were torn from him. So he's a bit sensitive right now about it, I think. Having something that he thought he lost presented in front of him. Seeing that there's a child involved as well, and
They would be safe under his care.
I don't think he loves us any less than them, perhaps, but when you've been separated from something that you cared about deeply, and all of a sudden it's alive, I can only imagine the absolute obsessive desire he might have to make sure he doesn't lose them again. I think had it been any one of us, perhaps it might be similar. I don't know. I don't know everything that goes on in his head, but I don't think he doesn't love us, and I don't think
I don't think that either. I really need us all to stick together play well together.
Yeah, no. And I understand that. I think, if anything, we should definitely think through things a little better. And he kind of squeezes her shoulder, and he's like, and work as a group. I mean, we're family, and we won't always get along, but I think we're better when we're together.
And I'm all for bringing Odiana and Colin and the baby along with us. Definitely at some point to keep them safer and not put them in more danger. I
Right.
feel like they are in danger here if the Emerald Claw is knocking at the door.
If not the Emerald Claw, we have Allie to worry about. I mean, she's definitely gotten her fingers everywhere, and it's only a matter of
And-
time before she might already have influence here that we don't know about.
We also don't know who imprisoned them.
No, because I don't think she has the capability of doing that. So
I don't think it
there's
was the Emerald Claw either.
there are a lot of variables that we're not aware of or that we don't know much about. So
I will.
I mean,
I know you guys probably shouldn't have put the crystals in, but I think you're right.
we got a little
So-
carried away. We were so excited, and we should have put a little more forethought into it, and we should have definitely talked with all of you about it before we proceeded. So
Yeah, we could try to contain it, make sure it didn't blast in any bad direction if it was gonna. blow
yeah,
up
well, we saw
blast or
we saw the
something.
we saw the wiring, but we didn't. We kind of just brushed it off, and we got Cherry really hyped up into it, and she probably would have been wise enough to be like, "Hey, there are broken wires here. Maybe we shouldn't do that because they're likely going to spark." So that wasn't the smartest thing that we've ever done. Not the dumbest thing we've ever done. I think the dumbest thing we ever done happened on that second time we got together. Never mind. You know what? Let's not talk about that. We don't like to talk about that. But
So give him a side little
Mm.
bump.
and he gives her kind of a gentle one back. He's like, I think we don't know what to do, and so we're just looking for something to do.
There's that door. It was like a blue key, wasn't it? And
Yeah,
I think there was a wire, but we know it's probably Odiana's wire. So if we
Yeah.
know we're going to cross it, we can go ahead and go.
yeah. And honestly, the impression I was kind of getting is that they're doing these things without really knowing that they're doing them. I mean, they handed the baby off to you really quickly.
And maybe she.
It's a little strange, don't you think? I mean, it's practically a newborn. It's an infant. Maybe Z will have an idea of what's going on. I can't imagine that sort of puzzle is something she'd let just sit there.
All right, should we go see what if Z's figured anything out?
Yeah, let's go check on them. And before you go, I think maybe at some point you and Bruce should talk a bit about this. So, because we might have ideas of what was going on in his head, but I think the only person who really knows what he's feeling is him. And I think it might be good to hear it from him, regardless of what the answer is. Just a thought. Okay. He just reaches down and gives her a hug. And he's like, "Thank you, Mama Kiss." Kind of moves and they keep going, I guess. We have now over here.
Ooh, we're within
Bruce, now that you're dealing with having channeled your inner pipes, having been on a number of lectures and what were you thinking that was the stupidest thing you could have done? Given your background and history of being a runt, being teased a little bit, getting into fights. It's like you feel this almost connection that you weren't even aware that you had, like this moment of whoa. But in dealing with the aftermath of something that could have been potentially lethal to everybody in the room, what are you doing as Cherry and Nyx have climbed back up? Rix and Kiz have walked back towards the other group.
Yeah, I think he's probably kind of like walking slowly, kind of in the same direction, but I think he's just having a rough time with everything going on. Yeah, the gravity of what might have just happened, how terrified he is of what's going on with people that he might have gotten back, but he is almost too scared to trust that they might really be back. It's just kind of too much in a lot of ways. And I think he's aiming towards a headspace of trying to just blank his mind and bury his feelings like he normally does, because he can't process fully everything that's happening.
Okay.
And he would just kind of be probably taking like a long way, like this
Take
direction.
the long way around the far side of the pillar. Makes sense.
Yeah.
That thing that you were trying to do when you'd originally left the group, trying to sort things out, reconstruct the natural defenses that you've had up for so long, the facade, maybe even trying to recall the whole Captain No Mark facade of straight face, trying to pull it. Looks like he has everything together, knows what's going on.
Yeah.
As you walk around the far side. At this point, I'm going to go ahead and say that the requisite time for Zianim's identification spell has passed. Zanim, you discover that Odiana has a particularly potent bit of enchantment magic on her called a Gesh. You know, the purpose of this Gesh, from what you can tell, is that she has been ordered to fix the ship. And you can tell from what you know of the spell, it being an enchantment spell, and enchantment being your specialty, having done research in that area, it is a spell that you yourself can one day possess with very little effort. It being familiar, the workings of enchantment being familiar to you. Soon. You're not quite there yet, but it's right around the corner. You know that this one was a very powerful casting of the spell, because it's lasted for at least 9 months.
Okay, so Z's not going to say much of anything. She's just going to tell Odiana, like, hold on just a minute. I want to try something, and then she will cast Dispel Magic on her.
Okay, Dispel Magic. Go ahead and using your spell casting ability. So for
I think
you,
it's 10 plus a level of the spell that it was cast is the DC, right?
should be, I believe. Double checking. Yep, DC equals 10 plus the spell's level. On a successful check, the spell ends. So you need to make an ability check using your spellcasting ability. That is intelligence for you.
Oh boy.
Your first attempt at trying to dispel the magic.
10
fizzles.
plus the spell's level. She didn't. She just did a regular intelligence roll.
No, she did.
No, the DC she has to meet is 10 plus the spell's level. So that's what
Okay.
she has to meet. So it's whatever the level they cast it as, and I think Yesh is what, like a 5th level?
It's base fifth
Normally.
level.
Base 5th level. But the higher you cast it, the longer it is, and I think this is a much higher, much
you
higher
channel,
one.
As you channel the magic to attempt to disrupt the spell, you prepare a 3rd level spell slot casting dispel magic, and it doesn't seem to grip around the spell enough to bring the spell to an end.
Okay. Z would explain to Colin and Odiana what she found. Like, hey, look, somebody has charmed you and is compelling you to work on this ship. Isn't it kind of interesting that you've been working on the ship more than hanging out with your lover or your baby, that you're letting strangers hold your baby?
If we don't work on the ship, it hurts. Colin just very straight face looks at you. If we don't work on the ship, it hurts. And
That would have
if
been.
we hurt too much, there's not going to be anybody here to raise a baby. So we work on the ship.
Yeah, you have been magicked. I just tried to break Odiana's spell and I didn't quite get it. And I will absolutely crush the spell eventually, but we have an awful lot going on right now, and I can't use all of my magic in this moment.
What more do you have going on?
Oh, lots of bad guys to fight and kill, that's all.
This is about when Rix and Kiz have walked up to the group. Bad guys to fight and kill.
Oh, yeah. Hi.
Like Colin turns
Well,
to
I
you,
mean,
looks you straight in the eyes
obviously
for
a
second,
bad guy
and then
charmed
you see him
you and
kind,
is making
see
you
him
work
kind
on
of
this.
blanch a little.
And Rix just goes, it's fine. I just look like this. Sometimes people look like this. That's all he says to him.
Yeah, he looks out. Forgive me, I'm not used to it.
You know, I'm not used to looking like this either. So, but I'm getting used to it. Look, there are some people that are coming here for something, and they're not the nice sort of people, so to speak. They're here to get it, and they will use whatever means necessary to get it. And I don't think they're going to care much if you're under a spell or if you have a child. Have you ever heard of the Emerald Claw? Yeah, that's who's coming here.
Like he stops. He thinks about like immediately he answers yes, and then it's almost like there's like he takes a moment to pause, a fog. But that doesn't seem to supersede what he is and isn't allowed to know. So he does end up nodding his head yes, like okay, yes, I vaguely remember.
Yeah, so they're coming here to get the thing, and
what thing are they here for?
Kind of looks to Kiz, and I kind of look at Kiz and Z, and he's like, a schematic.
Odiana, a schematic of what?
Are you sure you don't want to the less the less you know, the better?
Eh.
This one thing.
Trying to ruin the world. We're trying to stop them.
I mean, how in deep do you want to get into this?
You all are a bunch of big damn heroes, is what you're trying to tell me.
Trying to be finding mediocre success most of the time?
We want to give them confidence in our abilities, Rex. Yes, we are big damn heroes. What?
A little honesty couldn't hurt anyone. Jeez.
Odiana looks at you. I like you.
Which one of us, me or Rex?
Probably you.
Looks at you, Zanim.
You. Definitely you.
Colin is a little more in favor of Rix's tactic.
Of being honest about it. It's like, look, they're coming here. They're coming to get the schematic, and they don't care who they find along the way if they're going to get in the way, whatever it may be. We think. Well, how do I say this? How in deep do you want to get into this?
If we don't
You
finish
have a
working on the-
child to think about too. Remember that. Beyond the ship, you also have your child to think about.
Is the child affected by this magic that you say we're affected by? It's not something that can be passed through birth. Both Colin and Odiana look at Zanim.
I look at
The
Zanim
child-
too.
The child isn't going to be compelled to work on the ship, is it?
Zinni's answer would be no, of course not. I mean, it's just a baby. Enchantment magic doesn't work like that. Is that the truth? That's what Z would tell them. Mr. DM, is that what Z knows? That they would have to cast the magic specifically on the child?
As far as you are aware, that's how the magic works. They'd have to cast it on the child.
What are you gonna do, man? Carry around a little wrench?
I mean, you get like a 2-year-old, they can do stuff. It might not be good, but they can do stuff.
As far as you are aware, it is not a hereditary thing. Like it does not
Z
pass.
would reassure
from
them
mother
that
to
the
child.
baby is safe from this magic, at least. But awareness is power, so I want you to know that there are spells at work here, if you didn't figure that out from the pain.
The pain generally gives that away. In fact, both of them kind of like cringe a little bit. We really need to get back to work soon.
Can you work and talk?
We can try. I mean, Odiana bangs pretty loud on the anvil. It's pretty hard to.
Quick
Odiana bangs pretty
question.
loud.
Quick question for Odiana, actually, if you don't mind me asking you. How are those golems not attacking you?
Oh,
The big glass things?
oh, the things the things in the glass tank.
Yes.
I don't really know. They popped their heads out the first time I was over there, and they saw me, and they went back under the liquid glass.
And you... Please don't take offense to this, because I feel like it's a sensitive subject for you, and you don't have a mark.
No, I don't have a mark.
Can I insight check her? Just in case.
Sure.
I mean, I'm sure she's telling me the truth, and I'm gonna roll poorly, because, it's me. But, roll or a natural 20, so there's that.
Like that never happens.
I don't have a mark.
She tries for laissez-faire. No, I don't have a mark. I'm not offended by this. I really hate that I don't have a mark. You just see the anger and seething rage in her face.
It's like... So she doesn't have a mark. Got it. He's like, noted.
Carrie's friendship sensors are going off.
No, I just look from everything that Bruce has told us about you. What he remembers you as, you didn't need one. If that's any consolation, you are capable of amazing things without a mark.
Just wish I could remember what those amazing things were and how to do them.
If
Again, she looks at Colin. I told you I was destined for great things.
so I just kind of like, before you start getting hurt from not doing what you're supposed to be doing, or compelled to do, I suppose is a better way of phrasing it. One more time. How in do you want to get to this?
If you, looking at Zanim, if you can get rid of the magic, as you say, crush it, and get us away from this whole bloody place, we would be very, very grateful and fortunate and in your debt. We'd be willing to go with you as far as you'd need us.
To be fair, we're kind of planning to go from one battle to what may or may not be another one to try to rescue our dad. So if you want to come with us there, cool. But I don't know if that's necessarily something you want to do, because frying pans and fires and whatever that is.
Bonfire.
Colin is just giving you this look of, who are you people? Like, you're like, we're going from one battle into another.
So we've got like 3 big battles all on the horizon right now, and I don't know which one will affect the magic that's affecting you. But I suspect that I might have an idea. It might be the crazy lady chained up in the basement.
She's been chained up.
There's a crazy lady chained up in the basement.
Oh yeah, she's super
Huge,
scary.
Big aberrant mark all over her. Stay away. You are probably safer here than further in.
To be
But
fair,
somebody
you
still
surprised?
magicked them, and she's the only one we found
Yes.
alive in the thing. So,
Oh, there was someone
well,
else
I mean,
alive. But you know,
other than what's his face, but he's not alive anymore. I mean, has anybody seen him lately?
no, we haven't seen him for a while. We haven't seen him for a long while.
Who haven't you seen for a long while?
A lamb.
A ghost called Brotor, dwarven, bit
Kids
cheeky.
has been trying to look for him.
Yeah, whenever I'm in the light, I do look around for him. Like I saw the lantern, I was like, oh yeah, Rotor.
Oh, that's right. You
Kids.
mentioned that earlier. You were going to look at it.
Again, Brotor does not seem to be anywhere to be found.
I hope he's okay.
I hope that he didn't get. Yeah, but
I mean, he could be
can't get
worse.
Killed again. I mean, he is
Yeah.
a ghost.
Guara acting normally.
Inside check. I'm wait. Was there?
you're inside checking your own companion.
Oh, Bruce suggested it. He's not there right now. Thanks.
How So your plan is to fight a battle here with the Emerald Claw,
A couple of them. Couple
and
of
leave
battles.
here and go fight another battle?
Well, defeat the Emerald Claw,
And
kill
also
the
fight
crazy lady locked
crazy
up in the
lady.
basement, and then go travel through the Mournland. Did you know we're in the Mournland? To try to save our father. That's right. We all have one daddy.
It's we grew up in an orphanage. Context
Did you
Z.
know we're in the Mournland?
Context Z.
That's no fun.
Like,
I mean, we could have
Colin
just had a
Rice,
really
like,
promiscuous
everything
dad.
you say, his eyes just get wider and wider and wider. And Odiana just gets just kind of like even more curious, or like,
Curiouser and curiouser. Look, bad guy on way. Bad guy want thing that we also would like to get out of here before bad guy gets it and possibly does very bad things with it. That's the basic gist of what's going on here. We don't want to see you hurt. That is also a portion of it as well.
Man, if we
Until
let anything
she
happen to
can
you,
fix
Bruce is going to
this-
kill us.
Until she can destroy the spell that keeps us bound to the ship. We
Yes.
can't leave.
Exactly. Which is
But with everything going on, I don't feel comfortable using all of my spell slots just yet. I promise that as I can rest and recover spell slots, I will take the time to do this before we go into battle number 3.
We made sure that we have an 8-hour rest window.
Yeah.
Remember that, you guys.
We
We
still-
have an 8-hour rest window before the Emerald Claw should arrive.
if
Well, yeah, but I don't have any more 3rd level spell slots. So I would need to rest
You
before I
can-
can try again anyway.
have you used your arcane recovery yet? Your short rest?
No.
She can get one back, right? Or is
But
it
take
first
care of
level?
one.
Wait, no, it might be a first level. It's been a while since I played a wizard.
It's a spell level equal to half your level.
Yeah, so
or spell levels. I
okay.
think.
Okay, so she could, because she's level 7, so she could, if she took a short rest, get a 3rd level slot back. But she'd have to
That
take a
might
short
move to
rest.
Level 8.
Yeah, we heard about that conversation, Mike. We're level 8 now?
No, it's a lie. Shenanigans.
I don't know, man. It's starting to feel
I
like
don't,
maybe
we're
we're
gonna
level
if we're
8.
gonna rest, I have a 4th level spell slot. I could cast it at 4th level.
4th? Yeah, you can cast it at higher levels, and that gives a better probability of.
I don't know if... Does it work the same with Dispel Magic?
There's
Yes.
nothing there. Oh yeah, when casting a spell of 4th level or higher, you automatically end the effects of a spell. So if she casts it at 4th, it would auto end a 4th level spell. She
But
still has to
otherwise,
roll.
it's the same type of rolling.
Otherwise,
Yeah.
it's still the same type of roll.
Not gonna make a difference.
She'll cast it at 4th level on Odiana.
Okay, roll me another intelligence check.
You're not going to wait for any other help.
I push it the button. Dang!
Having heard them constantly say, if you can break the spell, if you can crush the magic, there's part of your pride that has now gotten involved in, I can end this spell. Why can't I end this spell? And just kind of quietly you begin casting dispel magic, and you place your hands on Odiana again in effort to dispel the spell, and again your spell slides off. The spell already laid resistant to the magic that you're casting on it.
I think it's gonna have to be... like 17 or higher at the very least.
I wish
He said he's
that I had.
resistant too.
Hey, I have an inspiration from forever and ever ago. Can I try re-rolling that?
Sure.
Oh, come on, that's really smart of me.
Just, would she?
Is it? Is it?
You find your self-confidence shaken.
That's what everybody wants from their wizard, right?
Oh no!
this wizard!
Natural one though. Oh man.
So Z doesn't actually say anything. She just like looks like she's patting Odiana on the back. And then she gets like super bummed and she's like, well, we set up time for a sleep before the bad guys get here, so I'm gonna go to bed.
Hey,
And she, like,
kids, have you
climbs into
taken the
boat
bountiful
and
luck feat
finds a
yet?
comfy spot and goes to sleep.
No.
She's
We
like
don't
super pouty.
we don't get to pick the feats. Mike gives them to us.
Bruce, about this time, you've had time to kind of walk around the column. Where is he going? Stepping into the ship.
Sulking.
She's gonna go
Sulking.
take their bedroom.
No, she won't go into their bedroom. She'll just find something that looks relatively comfy, like a quiet corner of the ship, and sulk for a minute and then rest.
Well, you got
Because the
couple
ship
of
that they're
different
working on,
options
that's
there,
a great
so.
place to take a nap, right?
Bruce thinks so.
I look to Kiz, and it's like, should we go after her, or just let her have a moment?
She needs a moment.
And I look to Odiana and Colin, and I'm like, I'm just gonna ask you a question, and I suspect I won't be able to get an answer. But, whatever cast it on you, did this spell on you, do you remember anything about them?
Colin looks at you and says, "No, I don't." Odiana very quietly mumbles, "Her hair was blood red,
I knew it.
Where she's
and she was missing a hand."
I knew it.
Yep.
That was right.
Rix is just like, wait,
I'm better.
what?
Wait, so she survived too?
It looks like it.
What? So, like, no timeline is right. I am so confused.
Oh, I don't. No.
In the original
Look,
timeline,
look.
she was
And
fine.
I turned to Kez. He's like, look. Originally, what happened was, from what we could tell and what we got the impression was that they would. What Bruce remembers is that they were all killed and that she got out of there. We don't know
And
if she was missing a hand or anything, but we know that she won. And
the
she's.
person we saw, she was killed.
But that wasn't the real one. That's why after we got out, Bruce wasn't the same. He didn't have a mark. He didn't have anything. Even his
Have a mark.
it was all it was. No, he didn't have a mark when he came back.
Mhm. In the alternate timeline, he
it was
did
an
not
alter-
have
he-
a mark.
his
Nick
mark-
held his mark.
His mark hadn't manifested, and so
Okay.
Nyx was inside of Nyx. He's like, it's her. She's the one who's getting them to build the ship, and I don't know why. None of us do. We need to talk to Bruce. We need to talk to everyone right now, because that complicates this big time.
Because we might have 3 people waiting to ambush us.
Yeah, I figured that whoever.
It's at 4.
And he's
On the list.
and he's like, yeah, well, you know, it's. If we were in Sean, it would be a lot longer, to be honest. All right, we should go grab Bruce. Do you want? Do you want to grab Bruce and Nyx and Cherry, and I'll go talk to Z? Or do you want me to do that, or do you want to talk to Z?
I'll go talk to Z.
Okay, you do that. I'll go find the others, and we need family meeting right now.
Oh, I think she set up the tree, didn't they? So then we want to do it.
We don't know that they went up there. We left before they went into the Wait,
We
no.
didn't go up the
Oh, they
tree.
didn't. They didn't go. They didn't go up. No.
I
We're
thought-
on the head of the dragon.
But it's a good idea.
Yeah. So Rix is going to. Kiz is going to go talk to Z. Rix is going to go look for the others, and he looks to Odiana and Or I look to Odiana and Colin. I'm like, get back to work before you start getting hurt. I'll be right back.
Odiana holds the baby up to you.
Oh,
Well, that's
don't you have the barnacle? Can't he wear the barnacle? It's a very masculine thing.
Colin doesn't have any.
Turns to offer the baby to Kizriel.
I can't climb onto the ship and hold the baby. Here, Laura.
Rix, as she turns to give it to Kiz, Rix is just like boom, 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 and just books it.
Gone. Okay.
He's
That being
gone.
said, we will deal with the disposition of the baby momentarily. It is time for us to take our break at 8:30. So we will be back in about 10 minutes. And we're back. Having taken a moment, the group has figured out that Bruise's past seems to govern far more of their fate than they'd like to believe, as Odiana seems to have the memory of somebody with red hair missing a hand as the one who cast this spell on them. Taking a moment, we have been dealing with this group down in this corner with Odiana and Kizriel and Guara and Rix and Colin and Z. I'm going to pop back up to Jalira and Nyx for a moment as they are messing with the wiring harness stuff on the Project Glass Dragon. Jalira, you said you had been testing mending.
Jeez.
Yeah,
Nick was not touching the wires.
and at some point, she just starts muttering to her like, I think it's Bruise's pirate. I think she rescued Colin and Odiana and then bewitched them. And she put them to work fixing the ship because I think she wants the ship. I don't know why she wants the ship. But I mean, it makes no sense. She was the last known contact. But what connects her to Kim? So she's muttering along these lines, trying to connect.
Okay.
Mhm.
Nyx, how far away do you go to do that thing that you told me about in your private message?
She wouldn't be far. She would just still probably be sitting there, and while Jalira is busy, just kind of, just right there. Not.
What is your passive deception?
Oh, it was definitely like.
Jalira,
Yes,
could
sir.
you roll me a perception check with disadvantage?
14.
You're muttering to yourself. You continue to mutter and formulate plans and thoughts, trying to coalesce the thoughts in your brain, trying to give voice and structure and order as you're concentrating on mending this particular section of wires. Fixer, his little pokey talons are like grabbing coils of wire and twisting it together.
If it was her, she would be the only person who would search them out, and it would be because Bruce got on her bad side, significantly.
She somehow knew of Odiana's talents. Did she scope them out? I mean, I don't. That little vision I'll remember is. It kind of implied she was sent to bring the captain in. She said the captain of the house says hello or something like that. And he said something like, tell the house to go F themselves or something.
I think there was something along that line.
I mean, Odiana. She's like reaching for a memory that she is just barely out of reach. I got the impression that she was always trying to be low key about who she was. It's just gonna be completely broke because that neural connection she's trying to make doesn't exist.
Yeah, well, who knows?
Like you have this lamenting look as you look at Fixer, wishing that you could use him to mend said connection. Like if only Fixer could stick his little claws in there and put it back together, I could remember more.
He could certainly try.
Let's not turn this into a Saw movie, okay?
And of course, he would try the moment Bruce would walk up, and that would just make everything better.
What are you doing? Performing brain surgery? How does it look like?
That being
Makes
said,
good choices today.
Nyx, doing what you do. It does help you clear some stuff. Like it's been a coping mechanism for you, and you've used it, and it works. And you're able to kind of bring a sense of calm to yourself, though. Having had, this having felt the effects of your new ability of still mind, and being able to calm and center yourself that way, this doesn't feel good. You don't feel good about doing this. It's hard. It's how you used to cope, and now it's that it isn't the only way. As you find yourself kind of taking a moment to breathe, you find your eyes kind of closing, and you feel yourself being pulled into your mind. Like listening to Lyra mutter back and forth about her theories. You find yourself in that space where you've spoken to Seek before.
Mm.
Feel that cool presence. You know Seek is there, but quiet, and dark.
I just want it to go away. It all hurts too much.
She said that out loud. No, she said it's safe. Just checking.
It is part of what makes you you.
Don't want to think anymore. Just need some. Just
Well, if you'd like, there is something I could do to help. I don't know if Bruce told you, but he accepted more of what Kuma had to offer him. And he was able to gain new insights into his own gifts. I could offer you something akin to what you're looking for, if that's what you'd like. Though I don't know exactly what you would be tapping into.
oh boy, I have to decide how well this is for her. It would probably unleash a more dangerous power in my mental state. Should be in a better place. Can't risk not feeling and making a mess of things. Well, just hurts. A lot. And I want it to just go away.
What is it that hurts most?
Being in love.
From what I know of you and the love that you have for those around you, for those who you particularly love more than others, you're right, losing that ability would be catastrophic for you.
Yes. It would be a bad thing. Just hurts a lot right now. I wanted to go away. I know I shouldn't. I should keep holding on to it because I know what happens when you don't.
Have you tried embracing it rather than keeping it at arm's length?
Therapist.
Like I can't. I can't.
Why?
I don't want to lose him forever.
Would you?
Something.
You'd rather deal with this pain than the potential of the loss. Possibility of loss. I mean, you can't know his mind for sure. I mean, if you'd like, I could talk to Kuma and get Kuma to talk to him and see where he lies on the pro Nix scale.
I think Cherry's involved in that telephone too at some point.
It just hurts right now that he doesn't see me at all.
Have you talked to him about it? Does he know? I mean, from what I've been able to gather, just about everybody else does. I mean, I'm really surprised at that Z character being able to keep that a secret.
Pretty sure it was gonna come out too. Then she freaked out about other things and hasn't even spoken to me since. But uh sorry. I just am afraid that I've been trying. Maybe
You tell him you love him. He says, freaks out and runs away. You're still his family. He will still, I would hope that you mean enough to him that he would not abandon you completely. I mean, you guys are kind of stuck together in this forsaken place right now.
Yeah.
He did offer you a place on his ship.
And then retracted such offer. And yeah, right, I need to just say it. Just never a good time.
From what I've observed, there's never going to be a good time. The best time is to do it while you're both still alive. And while he has some semblance of who he is. Some semblance.
Yeah.
Who knows? He might go, you guys might go, and he might die at the hands of some Emerald Claw agent. He might succumb to Ali. He might end up going into a furious rage and kill you all.
All equally possible.
He might find a way out of this forsaken place and take those two and their child with him and never speak to you all again. But until you ask him and talk to him directly, you will never have the answer, and it will always hurt. You will always have the not knowing. Ask
Am I-
Jalira. She can't, your friend. It's obvious she can't stand the not knowing. That's why she does what she does. She has to figure things out. She has to know how things work. That will drive you more mad than if you know the answer. And knowing the answer will allow you to take your next step. Your one next thing. What is your one next thing?
I don't know.
You all seem to have planned for a resting break before the Emerald Claw arrives. Not now, Kuma. Maybe perhaps you take a watch with him and have a discussion. I mean, he it's quite possible that he's not even in a place to think about those feelings, but you won't know and he won't know until you talk about it. And you're going to have to tell him it's not your handler. He has a strange idea that your handler is the one that you've been having issues with.
Look, it's a great theory, okay?
It is, but in her, she's like, "Oh, that would be oh."
Speaking of that, something that Rick's talked to you about him being an agent of the Tyrants. He was never an agent of the Tyrants, at least not that I can recall from your mind. He was very much against them. So him being an agent of the Tyrants now is something that bears thought and consideration.
He was blackmailed into it.
Was he? I mean, the last person you saw him with was a spy.
He's referring to your handler, not Rick's.
Oh, okay. I am so confused.
The last person that you saw your handler with
I was
Nightingale.
It's like I was
Nightingale.
blackmailed.
Nightingale, who claims to be... Hold on. Non-canon thought here. Rix, did you talk to her about what Nightingale has said?
Yeah, we talked. We had a conversation that
Okay,
she
I
said
just
that.
wanted to double check it. Nightingale claims to be your mother, and working within the Tyrants. After the initial kill order on you, you've had no trouble from him whatsoever. Only when you came back into town threatening to expose him did the Tyrants even have you on their watch list.
I don't know who to believe or what side my handler was on. I don't even know what side Nightingale's on. I know that my handler's now protected by the Tyrants. That's a point. He could be dead and someone could be taking his place. Or he could have joined. Or many other things.
As far as you know, was Brosh Overton ever a changeling? Do you ever have
No.
any proof that he was? Am I
It was
mistaken?
odd.
Am I mistaken that the Tyrants organization strictly made up of changeling?
I actually don't know. But it seemed like it was of changelings and doppelgangers taking people's places, so. No. Maybe he didn't
Interesting.
go.
See, we've distracted you from your pain. Now, what's your one next thing?
I'll find a way to talk to him.
Okay, now will you stop sulking and please do not stab yourself again?
Wasn't enough to hurt anything, but I really want to hide it before Jalea sees, so. Can I get back?
That's up to you. As you think, like, can I get back? Like, all of a sudden, you find yourself coming back into your own head, sitting there. Like, your hand is kind of dripping a little bit of blood. Jalea, can you roll me another perception check at disadvantage? Actually, we'll just go a straight perception check because the smell of blood is now kind of on the horizon and you're not looking at her, but the smell is there.
Cherry's shark-like ancestry.
Don't you know that sharks and squirrels are distant ancestors?
Chipmunks.
Well, definitely chipmunks and squirrels.
Yeah, no, you're so caught up you don't notice.
Ooh, I smell more iron.
Who's got the spinach?
She'll kind of clean it up a bit and put her gloves back on.
Okay, Bruce.
Mm-hmm.
In this time, you've walked around the column. You're putting on that facade. You've had the moment to try and pull things together. At which point, Rix comes running your direction, like booking at full speed.
Just give me a moment. All right. So, I was talking to, Zadine. Okay, sorry. Give me a moment. I'm sorry that we put your friends at risk. It wasn't fair, and we should have not let desperation to potentially protect ourselves put your friends in harm's way. I wanted to start with that because I have a million other things going on in my head right now, and I wanted to say it before I got carried away.
Sure. Okay. Thing.
We won't do anything like that again. At least not without everyone's agreement on it.
Okay. I mean, we should probably get everyone together to talk and figure out what we're doing.
Yeah. See about that. So, and I am kind of like almost like it's almost like an anxiety kind of tick. Like he kind of grabs the ponytail and tugs on it a little bit, and he's like, "Okay, so we were talking with Odiana and Colin, and Zanim figured out that they have."
Can I ask Rix to roll an insight check?
Okay.
Would that be okay?
Yeah, it's fine.
Trying to figure out the best way to.
No, you're fine. 17. What do I pick up with a 17?
I'm just wondering if in that moment, as you look at Bruce and how he's been acting, you remember like an hour ago when Bruce thought he knew who was imprisoning the people he loved and what almost happened.
You know, if telling him that it's his arch nemesis
Yeah.
that is making them prisoners is a good idea or not.
Okay. Yeah.
Kind of like in cartoons where like people hallucinate something as something else, and Bruce is currently one of those like bombs with a fuse, and you're holding a match to it.
Yeah. Well, he's just give him a moment to get there. He's like, there's a spell on them that is preventing them from remembering, but forcing them to work. Okay.
Is that different than the collars? I thought that
The collars are a safety precaution to keep them in line as a way to remind them as to what they need to do and the consequences of if they don't do it. That's my best assumption. But the fact that they're so ready to just pass their child off, they tried offering the child to me to hold on to it, and that was momentarily awkward. But
yeah, that doesn't seem like the best.
no, definitely not. I wouldn't do anything. I just, bad things in the head, bad memories I don't want to think about right now. But we need to get everyone together because we need to talk about this all together. But I felt like you need to at least know that they are being forced into this by something. Compelled. And Zanim has tried, I think, more than just once to... I'm not sure, though. She seemed kind of frustrated and went to go onto the ship because he's talking to her. But she did try to remove whatever spell, and I think it failed. Which means that whatever spell it was that she tried to dispel is very powerful.
Yeah, I imagine it would be.
But could you come back and rejoin us when you're ready? Obviously, it looks like you're standing by yourself for a good reason. And
no, we can get everyone together.
Bruce. When we talk about everything, I'm begging you in this moment not to do anything rash.
Bruce, roll an insight check.
Sure.
Okay. Rix knows something about what's going on that he is holding back from you that he does not want to say because he's worried about that you running off might happen again.
To be fair, it was mostly to see if he rolled low. If he had rolled low, he was going to ask Rix what he did.
Yeah. Yeah. But he knows that Rix knows something and that he is genuinely concerned that Bruce is going to potentially put himself in danger as a reaction to it. No, put himself act in such a way that puts himself in danger.
I don't know. Has Nyx checked to make sure she still has all the keys?
But that's what your insight would have picked up.
Bruce glances over to see if he can still see Colin and Odiana and if they look alright.
Colin seems to be back working with this lumber now, and you can't see Odiana.
Do I hear the sounds of the forge?
You do hear the sounds of the forge.
Okay, then he's gonna look over at Rick's cautiously and nod slowly.
We need to talk. Just please. Remember that we want to help you and we can't do it if you're on your own. We're trying to do everything we can to help them. Barring doing stupid things like messing around with a town-destroying thing.
You know what? Let's not talk about that anymore.
Yeah, I'd prefer to leave it in the past, but I wasn't sure if you were going to
Yeah.
bring it up again, and I wanted to be the one to bring it up first as preemptive strike, you know?
Yeah. Okay. So, who are we? Are we the last ones? Do we need to
No,
grab anybody?
no, you're the first one I saw. I'm going to go grab Nix and Cherry. But Kiz is over there with them. I think she's talking to... I think she's got the baby, and she's talking to Z.
Okay. Bruce would head, I guess, over to where Kiz is, assuming that the others are gonna join up in that area.
Kizriel appears to be putting the baby onto Guara. Trying to figure out the best way to
Think about it.
like holding him on the saddle and thinking about looking how she can secure him on Guara.
You know what?
Kiz, I love
Do
you.
you think you could jump up there and go get Z? I mean, I think you can handle that better. What do you think?
Guara looks at you, looks at the ladder, looks at the baby, looks at you, looks at the ladder, and walks off towards the ladder.
Nobody wants to hold this child, but everybody wants to hold this child.
Oh, she was given an assignment. She was to go talk to Z, so now she's just holding her. She's like, you can do it.
Bruce, you're walking up on the tail end of seeing Guara walk over and climb up this ladder.
Yeah,
See,
I think
you're
Bruce is walking slowly. He did have to check himself when he saw that.
Did I just see what I thought I saw?
Z, you hear the
I think
soft
in the
thump-
back of his mind, he did think, "How did we ever let her near other children?"
She was older, there was no choice.
Z, you hear the soft thumps of Guara's pads landing into the boat. Rix, you head up towards
Mhm.
Jalira and Nick.
Mm-hmm.
Kiz, at this point you are holding a baby, and Bruce is slowly walking over towards you. Kind of slightly shaking his head a little bit, but moving forward.
Hey, we're gonna have a meeting.
Yep. Yeah, Rick was saying. Yeah, talking about Rick. So yeah, people. Yeah.
Kind of stand there awkwardly. Are you
Super awkward. Yeah.
are you pointedly not looking at the baby? Or are you trying to like side eye the baby and keep an eye on it, or how are you acting in the presence of this child?
I'm gonna start making faces at the baby, see if the baby responds, see what that does to Bruce.
Animal handling check. I'm just kidding.
I believe I'm proficient in that.
We lost our dungeon.
Give
master.
yourself a point of inspiration.
I still have one from calling Torth a top.
Can we spread them out? Can you give one to like?
Can I pick one up as after I use that one?
I'm gonna.
I think I should have a
Need a
couple
moment.
banked at this point.
You can give it to Kiss. Since she's the one, I don't know.
I'll give it to Kiz. Can I let Kiz have my inspiration?
Kids
Or
can have your
can you-
inspiration.
or could you have more than one?
You can have. Well, I already have one, so you can have the extra inspiration I would have gotten.
No, you can't have more
Like
than
a
one.
You can't have more than one.
Oh,
But I already have one, so you can have that one that was meant for me for making that comment. Sorry.
I think if Kiz looks distracted, he would try to be covertly watching the baby.
she would be pointedly avoiding eye contact with you.
So she's very much distracted by a baby.
Also, well, how much picks a newborn picks to a halfling? Maybe like a 4-year-old
You know,
holding the baby.
or a Daikini baby.
Remember,
Oh, I love a good Willow reference.
Solid. Jalira, give
No,
yourself
that
a point
adds
of
up.
inspiration for that.
Yeah.
for the 80s nostalgia.
Ah, it's such a good movie, though.
Yeah, that adds up. That's pretty. Yeah, that's pretty spot on.
You are so.
Whereabouts on the ship did you finally end up hiding?
Probably down a level or two.
I have you on the mid deck now, so I moved the top deck off so you could kind of, unless you want to go further downstairs.
No,
There are
I'm
a
just
number
gonna
of
try to find a
areas
comfy
to-
corner and curl up.
Well, there's a bunch of broken beds over on this end.
Your broken beds sound good. Not in an actual fun way, but in a sure I can make that work way.
Isn't that Bruce's old room?
I know you guys had the top. You had the
Top
you and
left
Torth
one.
Had the oh gosh, it's port and starboard. Frick, I had this good for last session.
It was
I
this
totally
one,
forgot.
right?
North is
Yeah, it was
left,
that one.
starboard is
Yeah.
right.
Was that
That was-
Tort's or was that Bruce's?
I mean, did Bruce really have a room?
Technically,
Uh,
yeah, it's where Torth made him keep his stuff.
Fair.
Fair.
Fair. Okay.
And
No,
some
but
of hers.
I think she is in what was. I think Colin's room was the back room. Sure Sight was up top. You're right. I think she's in Kish's room. That's the room she's in. She's in Kish's old room. You're right. That might be Bruce's room, and Torth might have had one of the rooms up on the command deck. I forget where all the rooms were. That being said, Zanim has found Kish's room. Can you roll a survival check for Gora?
Okay, what is survival with surviving?
Tracking Z.
She gets
Advantage with sense, right?
yeah, but that was a perception.
Regardless, she's able to kind of follow Z to that point, and Z, you hear scratching at the door if you shut it behind you.
hmm I would let
Kid.
Guara in and say, look, I just want to go to bed for a little while, okay?
Gora comes in, licks your hand, bites onto your robe, and starts to pull you out of the room.
I can channel Amelia for a minute. But Z would go.
I was about to ask Israel to
What do you
make me a
think
grapple
she's
check for Gora.
channeling?
So Gora proceeds to lead you back out of the ship. Rix, you approach underneath the glass dragon head.
You do.
You faintly hear Jalira muttering to herself. You hear Fixer doing his thing. As you look up, you do see that Nyx is bent over and is wiping something up and you see her bend over as she's you don't know that she's cleaning up something, but you see her bend over and then stand back up a second later.
Nyx.
Hmm?
Cherry. Family meeting. We learned some things that will be important. I think we need to discuss it as a family.
Cherry, if you want, I can take you down. Probably.
Okay.
Think
But you can just carry me?
As an
so,
artificer,
as long
could
as you
she
don't have too
recharge
much
a
stuff.
Featherfall token?
No, but she's got, she can carry her down. Sort of.
Feathers
You
fall
can
on
readd your
the
boots.
artificer's spell list.
Yes,
I
but
think
I don't
so.
have it prepared.
I'm just wondering if it is on the spell list.
It should be on the spell
It is.
list.
I think it should be.
Yeah.
I
it
actually
is.
have an idea of how it works. You know all those keys, flying keys in Harry Potter?
Yeah.
You can't get more than one inspiration. Calm down.
I mean,
Reading
you're
that
the
book to
DM.
Amelia right now.
We definitely could if you said.
Alright. So Nyx would go ahead and have Jalira jump on her back. And then
Lyra, in your half plate armor, how much do you weigh?
yeah, let's hope it's not too much.
Just like, come on, my little spider monkey. You're having an
How
Edward
much
Bella
is-
moment now.
3 pounds plus.
I'm gonna take
Where-
away your inspiration.
No!
100.
Well, you're gonna have to take it away from kids. Then.
Sorry. What's up?
120 pounds?
That's right, you have a bag of holding, so most of your gear ends up stashed there, doesn't it?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, 120 pounds. Nyx, what's your strength total that you can carry again?
Does it actually say?
It should say it if you click on kind of carrying capacity
Where's that?
under
Right.
equipment.
Okay, equipment. Sorry. Equipment. Inventory. Come on, carry.
Weight carried in the top left.
The weight carried I have is 90 pounds. Oh, here we go. Carrying capacity is 120.
You can just barely get her on you to get down. You're like, come on, little spider monkey, and she climbs up and you're like, oh, you're a big spider monkey.
It went more than you look.
She goes
Like,
and
you,
jumps down.
you go to jump off and like for a minute your slow fall doesn't like catch and you're like you have this minute of a what, and then it kind of jolts and grabs and just slowly eases you down, but there's this moment of huh.
Oh well.
That moment when the cartoon character runs off the cliff and they've got that foot out there and they're just like what,
That initial shakiness, Rick's in his head. I'm just going like, oh, I want to bet you so bad to see if she actually fall. He's like, I'm not going to do it, but oh, it's tempting.
Don't tempt him. Don't tempt him.
Biff it. Biff it.
All right, we are going to
Listen.
make our way back down.
you both make it down safely and you're able to move back towards the group.
It's like, yeah, you might weigh too much to do that again for a while.
It's probably mostly the armor.
I agree.
All right.
Sorry.
See? I'm sorry I can't hold you. Very well. We have about as much to be sorry about.
That's fair.
Rex is here. And he looks to Kez. And he probably sees Z joining them. Right?
Z coming out of the ship,
We
not too happy about it.
He's like, hey, can we need to have a family meeting. Is there someone we can talk on our own?
The spell slot? Or do you have a catalyst?
Ping. Colin looks at you.
We could go up in
Back
the
in
rope
that-
trick.
What did Colin say? I'm sorry.
Colin said you could go back downstairs. You could get in the ship. You could go to the other side.
Or do you want to save your capital? Talk about
Is the rope trip still working by now?
I think you probably have maybe like 10 minutes left on it, I imagine.
15,
15.
10, 15, 20 minutes, something. You kind of lost track of time with the whole let's start up the doomsday device and see what happens plan.
Alright. That's probably not enough time to go over everything, is it?
No.
I,
Okay, let's. All right. Okay. Okay.
Do you want to talk on the ship, maybe?
No. Let's do this. Let's see. Third level. Okay, so then I'm gonna just turn around. Choose that again.
Cherry does that. Bruce goes, "Oh, do you need more?" And he walks over and puts his hand on her, and nothing happens. Oh, sorry. He just steps back.
Okay. Rick's just that person thing there was like, and climbs up into here.
Might need to put it on the
You're going to drop it to the map layer,
yeah.
just so we don't click it on accident.
And Kiz and Guara.
you want to invite the
Are we inviting them?
princess.
they can't right now.
They-
We don't know how much is communicated to whoever is in charge of them.
Yeah. Rixa goes, they need to work or they get hurt.
So, Kizriel, who do you hand the baby to as you climb up the rope to the rope trick?
I actually coordinated it, so you kind of just have to climb up on top of the boxes and just step right in.
Zanine.
Okay, Zanine would hold the baby while we're talking. No big deal.
She rolled a 6, it would have been Laura.
Very confused. Jaguar. Okay.
She'd just be like, do I take it?
Alright, so Z, could you explain the spell that they're under? Please?
Why, sure, the spell that they're under, in addition to those oh so fun collars that will blow their head off if we try to take them off wrong, is a gash. So, a gash is enchantment magic, which, as you all know, is my specialty. You place a magical command on somebody, and they have to keep your command, or it hurts them. Anything short of telling them to kill themselves or certain death, you have to do what you say. The spell ends if you dismiss it, which obviously she's not going to do. Or if somebody can remove the curse, or greater restoration, or wish.
She?
We'll get to that. We'll get to that.
You didn't tell him?
I wanted it to be something we talk about as a group.
Okay, makes sense. He has kind of gone a little lately, so.
Always away with words. See? Always away with words.
Well, you know, I say what's on my mind.
Yeah.
Right now, I was hoping to be asleep, so here we are. You get what you get. So anyway, it hurts them if they don't do what they've been commanded. It appears they've been under this spell for at least the last 9 months or so, based on the side of the munchkin here.
Alright. The point is, we can't stop this right now. So we probably need to try and meet the Emerald Claw before they end up coming back here and preventing the fight from happening in this forge area.
There is another complication. It's the
What?
person who cast the spell on him. Colin doesn't remember who it was. However, what Odiana remembers is that she has red hair and she's missing a hand.
What?
Z would go block the exit from the road track.
Everybody's like, no!
With the
Oh,
baby,
got the
she's got the
baby,
baby. We can't do anything crazy here.
Bruce.
Ooh, smooth the.
And Rix is like, kind of like,
Is she
Looks
just openly using a baby as a shield?
Baby.
look, man. No, but Rix just kind of looks at Bruce kind of like, that's why I asked you not to freak out earlier. Kind of like, look, it's like, Callista is the one responsible for this. Oh no. Oh no. If we can trust what Odiana has said, she is the one who's done it. We don't know why she kept them alive, but she is the one who cast the spell, and so far Z hasn't been able to break it. Yet. He adds to Z. Yet.
Just need expendable spells, which I'm not going to have until after we take on Allie and the Emerald Claw. For however long it takes me to break through the spell. I can dispel the magic. It could just take a couple of days. Unless my spells get more on point. I'm doing my best!
It's okay. It's
I
okay.
know you are.
We
I'm
know you
not
are.
saying-
We're not here.
The baby starts to stir when you kind of growl out angrily.
Look. But it does present a complication, which means that she's here, or she might be here soon.
Is it unethical to
Well,
use
she wouldn't be
hypnotize on
with
a
the Emerald.
We can ask Odiana how often she comes back.
Well, it hasn't come back
Aw.
for 9 months.
And just like that, Z became her father.
Alright. So, we need to figure out what we're going to do with that. Obviously, death to her, right?
Agreed.
But, if Z's having a hard time breaking it, and from what it sounds like, they've been under this for a long time, it was very powerful magic used.
She's got more resources than.
Okay, so the point is, we can't do anything to stop the spell right now. We
No.
have to fight the Emerald Claw first.
Emerald Claw is going to be the thing that we have to fight first, but
So we have to keep them from being able. So we have to keep the fight from coming in here.
Bruce has gone stock still since Rix said her name.
Alluded to the name. Did you actually say it?
he said it.
Oh,
Because he heard Bruce shout it in that in the vision. That's how he knows her name.
Gonna go up and slap Bruce.
Roll me an attack.
Bruce.
Unarmed strike.
I think she's a
Full
monk.
unarmed strike.
Imagine-
It's a slap. It's a slap.
I mean, Bruce isn't moving, so
You're non-lethally slapping Bruce.
Yeah, and I have to press the right button.
Does 5 do anything to your standing stock still?
no.
Like, Bruce, look at me. We cannot afford. If we're going to save them, we have to. You have to be here.
Like, Bruce takes the slap, and like his head stays in the same position for a moment before like it slowly turns back to looking straight ahead. His eyes, which have been like kind of gray for the last little while, have turned jet black. And without looking at any person in particular, he says, "Why did you stop me?"
Stop you from what?
Not talking to us. Probably.
Oh.
Bruce, I
Response,
need
you
you
hear
to.
a very soft rumbling thunder in your head. I didn't know. At the time, it was time for me to be there.
Which, if not all of the sovereign host and the Dark Six, that I piss off enough to deserve that?
Silence.
Nyx is gonna keep trying to talk to him.
Most of us are just kind of standing there watching him, like waiting in that tense moment as to what's going to happen next. Because I have no idea what to do as Nyx is trying to kind of slap senses back into him. And I'm trying to brace myself for whatever follows.
What is the status of Bruce's clothing right now?
Let's That's an interesting question.
He has the small shirt. Or his real shirt. I don't remember. He destroyed one of them.
I think he's wearing a shirt, but not the shoulder piece. If I'm remembering right.
So everybody facing Bruce, you can see that his mark is kind of glowing at this moment. Bruise in your head. I swear to you, you will have your vengeance.
You owe me.
Weird
Bruce.
question.
I need you to pick one of the following two options.
Ooh. Both of those are dope.
Yeah, wow. Can I use my inspiration to get both?
To
No.
cash in like 20 inspiration for
I
that.
use Rix's inspiration.
Dude, I would give it to you if I could.
Oh, man, those are both really good.
Oh, those are both amazing.
Oh,
Oh, especially as a barbarian. Oh my gosh.
gosh, that sucks. If I take the first one, he'll never die. Feel like angry Bruise in this moment would take the second one.
If that is your choice, I will go ahead. I'll give you until our next session to make a final decision, to think about it
Okay.
sometime. Think about it, tell me which one you want, and we'll turn it into a real feat. I haven't built it in the system yet.
Okay. Okay. Does anything...
I'm also going to have to redraw your mark.
Ooh, someone's
Just got
mark
that.
developed.
Just after your commission, too.
During the commission, oh no!
Alright, so... Alright, Mikey, you owe me. Alright. Gosh.
Oh, it's good stuff, man. Good
I'll
stuff.
try my best. I'll gimp around what's already there, and do my best to add to what's already been done. I will go that far to try.
Yeah,
For
Gimp.
those in our audience that are unfamiliar, there's a program called GIMP. Mike is not going to put on a leather mask with a zipper. That we know of.
It is a free program comparable to a imitation of Photoshop.
Not a plug or a
Do you
play.
remember Infamous?
Vaguely.
The game?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Feels so much like I'm making a choice in that game between which power set I'm choosing. I have the good and I have the bad, and they both are great in different ways. Okay, anyways.
Regardless,
Yeah. Does the group see anything externally?
Just that I think your marker's glowing.
Mark is glowing, and they do see that glow kind of reach further out and around. He's glowing from more than just over his left pectoral. It's kind of coming down his torso to about his waist and kind of wrapping around his body.
It's the dopest tattoo, man.
That's going to be harder to hide.
Bruce is going to have to start investing in a lot of shirts.
Bruce is going to look up, locking eyes with Nyx. Alright, so what is our strategy?
Protect the family. So we need to bring the fight outside. We need to pick where the fight is going to be.
Outside of this room or outside of the facility?
Probably outside the facility if we can manage it. Because if this is
Be
the
a lot of
entrance,
complications that could potentially happen from the Mornland. In here, their effects seem more minimal, more predictable.
Well, we know where the key is for opening the giant door.
I'm sorry, what? He looks over at Kiz.
That whole wall and the giant door. There's a key.
Up a level.
Blue key hole.
Up a level.
Yeah, it's like off of it, and it's just by itself. Pretty sure it opens a door. We could
And
go.
Colin and Odiana know what that opens up to.
We can ask them.
I thought you did ask them. But so
Did we find what we were looking for?
Mm-hmm.
yes, we have the schema pieces. Except for the largest one. We're in your space.
Banana.
This is the
Oh,
safe
okay, that's
place.
right.
This is
Sorry.
the safe place. I know I was doing it right.
Oh my gosh, I got banana!
I just panic. Just
I
a force of habit. It's okay.
Okay. You're doing
Banana?
great. That
Uh.
was our code word.
We not only found the schema, we also found the bigger part that they go into.
The
It was too
pattern?
big to stick in the bag, though.
So we
Oh.
found a big schema piece that we can't fit in the bag. We found, because I'm pretty sure it's a piece, and we found a place where one of the pieces will go in the machine.
Oh.
Does the
It
machine
seems to be
exist?
something like, I think you were saying something like the steering device. Is that correct?
The machine?
Yes, the dragon's head back there.
Bruce is going to look over at Cherry. Thought you said the pieces of schema would go inside the pattern.
That's what I thought too. That's what my player thought too.
You're what?
There's his game.
She's
Yeah.
doing a
Clear's
side-
smarter than
playing
me.
a side game of humans and houses.
Cherry constantly has Gaius cast on her by her player.
Yeah.
Clear's smarter than me. Sometimes she's got that disadvantage of me attached.
Okay, so we have both a piece of schema and now the pattern.
Okay.
It's dangerous to have all that.
It is.
Well, we couldn't pick up the pattern.
Do you think any of it would be destroyed if we
I'm
threw
not
it in the
sure
molten
it's
black?
Too
pattern.
complicated?
It's too heavy, and it wouldn't fit in the bag.
Well,
I
doesn't
can
We
don't
did live it.
doesn't he? I mean, does he? Don't you have a spell that like makes things bigger and smaller?
Yeah, I have reduce and large.
And can't you make oil with your?
I mean, that's even a second level spell, and I've got a couple of those slots left.
I mean, we could
All right.
try
that would be-
to reduce its size and stick it into the bag of holding.
Sure.
If
That would be one way to do that quickly. We have to also figure out what we're going to do with. We don't know when she's coming, but she is coming.
I guess I suppose how far along they are with the ship.
No. Well, yes, her too, but the crazy lady is coming.
Ali.
Probably faster than the other lady that we want to kill.
Ruse refrains from looking at any of the female members of his party when she says the crazy lady.
And at the same time, suddenly fix her and injects you with some healing.
As he has that thought, he's like, "Ow!"
Okay.
Sorry, I wanted to do that
Oh.
before I forgot.
Slightly more than Nick stilled him a couple minutes ago.
That's all I've got.
I was trying not to actually hit, like make damage, but Mike made me roll damage.
He was
Do
very.
you want me to throw you? I can heal. I can throw you.
Or
Well,
shit,
hold on.
one of the one things healing potions.
As the needle recedes from his neck. Thank you, fix it. Check. So, Allie, when?
I was thinking that we were gonna Emerald Claw and then we were gonna gank Alley. Wasn't that the plan?
Is it?
I mean, eventually we have to figure out how to kill the other lady too, so we've got 4 big fights on the horizon. Yes!
And it
I
is
don't
not
think
going to
you're ready
wait
to
much
finish this
longer
big boy.
either.
What makes you say that?
Say what?
And perhaps they're fine. I don't know.
Bruce gets 10 more hit points back.
Is people just start touching it?
It's just Rix is just kind of places a hand on his shoulder gently and just taps him a couple times.
Or you cast. Oh, you cast
do
a spell. Okay.
Yeah. Kieran's.
So, I think that our basic plan is still pretty much the same, except that we definitely don't want to fight them in the facility. So we sleep, we prep to fight Emerald Claw, Rix
Outside.
has to kill Vampire Guy, we come back in here, we sleep again, and then we go gank Alley, and then we figure out how to go help Pipes unless Callista shows up. Somewhere in there, we take however long it takes for me to free Odiana and Colin from what I can. Take a day or two, but hopefully it'll be, on point. I got this.
I really want a vacation
Let's-
after this.
To your point.
And then after we free Odiana and Colin and get Pipes back, we go on a vacation? I don't know.
I mean,
We
I'll
get to do
look into
something
this too
fun
eventually, but
that's not murder.
what about murder isn't fun.
Rix.
I am very quiet at that moment. He's like, I can think of a few things.
So, as much as I love that idea, do we have that much time?
Rix.
Hmm.
How much time?
DM, how much time do we have?
About 15 hours,
Yeah.
roughly, until the Emerald Claw arrives.
So we could
Assuming
go
the
get some
traveler's
scouting.
estimate was right.
I would
I
say we have about 15 hours. I would maybe estimate a little less, just in case.
Well, not
Do
just
we want
that.
to, go set up some traps and see if we can
It would be
Stop
good.
them at the door before we go take our nappy naps?
Well, yeah, I think scouting the area would be a good idea.
We
Setting
want
up
to fight them
ambush.
outside of the room. We wouldn't want to trap the door. We want to trap out
Um,
there.
But in addition to that, do we also have time? How long do you think Pipes is going to be there? And last I remembered, Ali's dogs were breaking down a door.
Let's think about it.
Yes.
How long do we think before those become problems in and of themselves?
Hopefully they can stay in their corridor.
I don't have any of my higher level spells. If you want me to be useful at all, I need to sleep.
Does Ali
Sometimes-
have the keys to move about the facility?
I say this with love. As an academic, I understand that's your perspective, but in battle, you don't always have those luxuries. You can't just.
If you want me
pause
to be effective in the fight, I need to sleep.
Well, I don't know if Ali will give us that choice.
It's one of
Does
the
Ali ha-
reasons. Thought we were going to go after Ali before we took our rest.
When did we
No.
talk about that?
That's what I tried to talk about, and no one would let me.
Oh, what the hell's that?
I'm sorry if that was misunderstood, as I was saying something else before, but that's what I have been trying to say.
Why can't? Does
Why can't
Ali have? Does Ali have keys to the facility?
If she did, why would she still be in the cage?
If she did, why would the dogs have to dig her out? Also, Jalira put a lock on the door. I feel like we've stalled Ali enough that we can focus on the Emerald Farm first.
What happened to Barotor?
I haven't seen him. I am worried about him.
I prefer to at least get eyes on Ali and make sure she hasn't strayed.
We'd have to take down Jalira's lock.
No, the lock you can come and go. I said
Who
it
has
for.
a perception over 12?
I do.
As you do.
12?
Mine is 12.
Are we talking about passive or just regular?
Passive.
Passive perceptions, mine's 17.
Mine's 14.
Mine is 12. So it is not over 12.
Oh,
it is 12.
Laura's is probably bad.
Did you just pick mine and then say who has more than Bruce?
No.
D has the same as Bruce.
So does Nyx.
Laura's is also 7.
Well, thankfully, Gwara was the one who was paying attention and didn't have to go by her passive. Gwara comes to attention and comes to the, walks up to the edge of the, stalks to the edge of the hole, very much like a cat would, and is just, staring out.
Is Z still standing there holding a baby hostage?
It looks like
No.
she's
Zanim, are you still standing in the doorway with the baby, or have you moved to kind of sit down and get comfortable?
Oh
Yeah.
no, I'm still very much standing in the doorway with the baby.
Okay, well.
Laura,
Gwara is looking around your legs, and you see her tail twitch. As you kind of
Okay.
all take a minute to look out there, you see just Colin and Odiana continuing to do their work. However, you see what look like illusions of Ali following Colin, and one standing next to Odiana, stroking her hair.
Oh, we're killing
And
her
that's where we're going to
now.
end tonight's session.
We may have.
she's
Thank you all for watching. We're grateful for you coming and participating in this game with us. We hope you had a good time, and we will see you on our next broadcast.